Good evening, everyone. Hope you're well. Happy Easter. Let's get straight on with it this week. No time for any self-deprecating intros. Let's start off with Torquay versus Dagenham. Torquay keeping alive those slim hopes of survival. A good result at Bristol Rovers last weekend. And I suppose if you could pick a side for them to play at home to continue that run, it's probably going to be Dagenham this weekend. Dagenham only kept 2 clean sheets on the road all season, conceded 4 at home to Portsmouth last week as well. Their season is pretty much done, always susceptible to the odd set piece. Didn't clear their lines for one of the goals against Portsmouth last weekend. It was a similar story against Wycombe the weekend before that as well. Lucky to get away with a missed penalty in the 2-1 win at home to Newport, where some bad defending in that game as well. I think, Torquay scored a set piece of their own last weekend. Nicely worked bit. Courtney Cameron, some really good delivery from him from corners and set pieces. It's worth taking a chance that Christian Pearce, who was on the notebook a couple of times last year, but scored 4 goals this year, centre half, certainly gets in and around the box, can stick it away in the net, there's no doubt about that. And at 13-1, which is a pretty odd price, we'll stick him in as the first leg. We mentioned Portsmouth just then. Let's continue with that theme. They've won 3 in a row. Andy Orford's kind of changed them around, and we mentioned a couple of weeks ago about them kind of releasing the shackles and maybe being a bit more expressive than they had before. It's about time they put on a show for the fans at Fratton Park, though. It's been a while since they've seen a few goals, and this weekend would be probably a good weekend to do it. They host that Bristol Rovers side, who I think there's a sellout as well at Fratton Park, so every chance that a big crowd, a big Easter bank holiday crowd, which you'll hear a lot this weekend, and they could put on a show. I guess they kind of should be just about be safe now, so they can play with a bit of freedom. I'm going to put up Jet Wallace, who's been on this Anytime Notebook a couple of times this season as well. If he was a horse, Jed Wallace, you might say he was a spring horse. He scored 4 in 8 when the sun was shining at the back end of last year. He scored 3 in his last 6. 2 under Andy Orford as well, kind of under the new system or the new ideals that he's employing. So he goes off at 9-2. So we'll put him up to make hay in the sun against what is going to be a pretty poor Bristol Rovers side this weekend. So he makes up the second leg. And then last of all, Vale at MK Dons. The loser of this game is going to get absolutely nothing. If they both draw this game, they're going to get absolutely nothing. Even if one side wins, they're going to be heavily odds on to get nothing out of this season at all. However, if you do win this game, either of these sides, there's still a faint hope they can catch Peterborough and make one of those playoff spots. I suppose you've probably got a side with MK Dons actually have won their last 5 away. A different story at home, where I guess they get big away crowds kind of coming and taking over Milton Keynes, and perhaps they don't feel quite as at home as they should do. I think we took around 6,000 there. I think Wolves ended up taking around 84,000. I think that's probably what it's escalated to now if you ask their fans, but they took a few anyway. They won the corresponding fixture 3-0, so some good signs there. You probably got to oppose Vale, who lost 4-2 to Notts County, had that whole Doug Loft and Daniel Jones incident, which is a bit nasty. I don't even, nothing to do with the club, but you see someone with their face bashed up, and it's created a bit of drama, but obviously it's not good for the club, and I think it just reflects bad on football in general, really. Like I say, they lost that. They went 2-0 up at Notts County and ended up losing 4-2. Jamal Campbell-Weiss, who did get a little mention in the video podcast last week. Needless to say, we didn't put him up, but he made hay down that right-hand side, and probably worth taking a chance. I think Matthew Kennedy for MK Dons, who can do the same, hopefully. Came from Tranmere, on loan from Everton, but started the season off at Tranmere. He's yet to open his account as a professional footballer, and I have it on good authority that it's his dream to score the winner at Vale Park on an Easter weekend. Some way it could be his dream. Let's hope it is his dream. So we'll put Matthew Kennedy up at 7-2, Jed Wallace at 9-2, and a nice big price Christian Pearce to get on the end of one of Courtney Cameron's fine deliveries for Torquay at home to Dagenham at 13-1. Whatever you're back in, have a great weekend. Have a good Easter weekend in general, and I'll speak to you soon.